Hello, I'm Thorsteinn Siglaugsson and I'm here with Philip Marris, CEO of Marris Consulting in Paris. Now, you've been very active in promoting the logical thinking process, hosting training courses and so on. I'd be interested to know or hear from you a few examples of how you actually apply the logical thinking process in projects.
So I'll try and give you a few samples. Let me start off with the one I prefer because it's the most impressive. That's what I was looking for in the logical thinking process, and so I think that's what should be the ultimate goal of using the logical thinking process in business, which was to apply the process to a company from zero to the end, going through the entire process, the Bill Detmer way. And this is a medium-sized aeronautical equipment manufacturer based in South Africa. The company is called Aerosud. You can watch our Marris Consulting video channel on YouTube, and you'll see lots of videos done by them where they explain their version and how they went through this. Okay, they were already users of the theory of constraints for many years before I met them, and so it came sort of kind of naturally to them to do it. But with a really good management team, really ambitious and stuff, they went through the process internally under Bill Detmer's coaching. Okay, they ended up with the whole thing, but including the gold tree, and they decided to have the gold tree printed in, I don't know, wall size, right, up in the entrance hall of the company near Pretoria in South Africa. So everybody could see it, the employees, the visitors, the clients, the prospects, and so forth. They really fell in love with the thing because it was, it enabled fantastic collaboration among departments and stuff. Everybody knew their role. It got rid of the stupid silo effect. So, the sum of local optimums is not equal to the global optimum subject of the theory of constraints. All that stuff was taken care of because when you do that, you take a helicopter view of your company. You look at it as a system, and you start becoming intelligent. It's as simple as that, right? So that's the most beautiful example, and that's where we try to get everybody to get to at some stage, right? Where it's the journey ahead, the transformation of the company is managed through the logical thinking process. Yeah. Okay, but that was an independent company where they had no particular conflicts. The discussions or the relationships with their clients was the important stuff, and the clients and suppliers. Other companies, it's different, right? We've also used the logical thinking process in a large organization, one of the largest semiconductor producers in the world. And they wanted to use the logical thinking process. And basically the subject was, all the tensions of the matrix in a large, complex organization with geographies, with businesses, with technical people, with their clients and so forth. And so it was all about trying to align correctly the entire organization. And in particular, this one was interesting because it did have a core conflict, which was that they were using exactly the same processes, very expensive semiconductors, right? We're talking very, very expensive machines. And with those machines, they were doing two different products. One was a commodity sold very cheaply, and the other one was some of the most expensive per centimeter square of semiconductor for high-tech military, hospital, health and stuff, where the price difference was over, in the worst or the most impressive cases, was over 300 times the price per unit between the stuff going for consumers and the high-grade stuff. That plus the well-known tensions of throughput accounting or traditional accounting and stuff led to a lot of discussions among the different departments, sales people, production people, geographies and stuff, because behind that, they also had targets to strategic targets to develop their business in Asia, to do this, to do that. Anyway, that was also very interesting because it enabled them to try and discuss things properly across a complex organization and try to limit the rather too frequent frictions and oscillations and core conflicts that have not been addressed properly in an organization. That's another case. We often find that in large organizations where there's these sorts of things, logical thinking process can help. and that's the second case.
So in this case, you were primarily applying the operating cloud to help them to sort out.
Yeah. To be fair, when I saw where this was heading,
right,
I decided myself was not up to it to manage it. So it was Bill Detmer that did most of the hard work on trying to align the organisation, because it's not in that kind of case. My understanding, my experience, it is some of the toughest work to try and align everybody. To give you another one, a small startup, 6 people when it started. The guy fell in love with the logical thinking process and had the logical thinking process in-person course directly by Bill Detmer. He decided to do that. It was a services company doing tax services worldwide, or also for US companies, and the company just blossoms, and he says the same sorts of things that I've just said about the logical thinking process, being able to align everybody, to understand, to explain to new hires and all that stuff. So that's fun, and because when you do that, when an entrepreneur does it starting from zero, as you probably could describe better than me, it's kind of different, because current reality trees don't a lot less important. Whereas if you're trying to get an old company to move, the current reality is something important, right? So there are different flavors of logical thinking process depending on what you're applying it to, and that one was typical. He didn't have to. He could design out all the core conflicts and stuff from the start, which is interesting. And to finish off, something completely different, but I think is important, because because you wrote a book about applying these ideas to something small and simple. We were working with a large pharmaceutical company in production, applying lean and the theory of constraints to producing more products, and to improve the performance. Quickly came the stage where they were spending too much time changing over from one product to another, over 30% of the time. We did with the people, quite simply, quite quickly, a goal tree about the goal being how to change over faster between 2 production runs. Okay, that was it. And we got a couple of guys from maintenance, a couple of guys from production, a couple of people from quality. So I can't remember, 8 people in the group. And in an afternoon, they did a really nice goal tree, saying this is how it has to be done. And so this isn't rocket science, right? It's very simple, but the fact that they then had it, and then they printed it out in a very large poster format in the production facilities. It's a mini project with different functions and organisations. They have to work to their part.
Exactly. And you're aligning all these different functions to handle a single process where they all have inputs. And in the goal tree, you're defining precisely what has to be done.
And what's very interesting is it's not just doing it a one-shot thing and putting a poster on the wall. It is also very powerful to help with the process of ongoing improvement, because the idea was not just to shorten the times, but have a process that would keep shortening the times for the years to come. When they found that they'd had a problem and went slower than they were hoping and stuff, they could immediately say the problem was here in what we're trying to do. Right? It's so powerful. It's important, and it can take many different forms.
So basically you could say that the logical thinking process and the tools that it's comprised of have become integrated into the way you work in Marris Consulting. Okay, so thanks, Philip, for those examples of how you use the logical thinking process, and best of luck with continuing to do so.
Oh yeah, no, it's we're on our continuous improvement journey, and we're doing it, I hope, more and more and better and better. We're, I think, nearer the starting line than the finishing line on the subject, really.